Welcome to Let's Talk Antigonish, the podcast where we sit down with neighbors, experts, and friends to explore the stories, the questions, and the big little issues that shape life in our town, one conversation at a time. Can you make a living in Antigonish as an artist? Well, we're going to find out today. We're talking to the artist Anna Syperek and Andrea Terry, the director and curator of the StFX Art Gallery. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Antigonish. This is your host, Justin, and my co-host...
As usual, Anuj.
I say my co-host as if we're not equal partners. Maybe you should just say this is Anuj.
Let's explore that question some other time.
Sure, we'll get after the podcast. We'll explain why I'm in this position that I put myself in. Anyway, we are here today to talk about being an artist in the town of Antigonish, and essentially whether or not that's a good idea, and what is this town doing to support artists.
What do you mean it's not a good idea?
I don't know. A lot of people don't choose art because they think they can't make a living. We'll find out today if you can do such a thing.
Okay.
So we're talking to two experts on this subject. Andrea Terry. Hello, Andrea.
Hi,
the
Andrea.
director-curator of the StFX Art Gallery. Is that your official title?
That is my official title. Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. and Miss...
Just Anna.
Just Anna Syperek. Have I said your name correctly?
Syperek.
Yeah.
Syperek, yes. Or Syperek, a lot of people say, is that right?
Yeah.
But Syperek. A well-known entity in this town, I have to say. Officially titled yourself a self-employed artist, but an artist of some renown, I have to say, whose pieces I actually have hanging on my wall, framed delicately. You're a great example, I think, of someone who has made a career out of being an artist, so we're very lucky to have you here. So... let's first talk about, before we get to the gallery, you moved here a while back and decided to be an artist right out of the gate, or what happened? What's your backstory?
Yeah, I was just not even finishing art school. I moved here. My husband grew up here, so that's why we're here. And I guess the most important, well, I was always drawing and I wasn't really thinking about it, except when we first moved here, the first thing we did was start an art gallery, because you can't sell work unless you have an art gallery, which is important. And so we started one called the Main Street Gallery, and it lasted for a couple of summers, and we got kind of bored. And one of the people who worked there took it over as the curiosity shop. And then in 1975, Beth and Jeff Parker moved to Antigonish and started Lyghtesome Gallery.
Right. Okay.
And they have been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
They have helped to, create a whole community of artists, because we need public galleries like the StFX Art Gallery and the Library Art Gallery. And we also need private art galleries to sell the work. And they have been fantastic. They have helped so many artists here. But I have to say that I couldn't survive as an artist. Both my husband and I are both self-employed, so I could not survive as an artist if I didn't have other galleries in the rest of the Maritimes. So that has been...
Other galleries that you own or that you supply?
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'm in their stable of artists. I guess you call it.
So, and for those who really don't know, what is a gallery? It is not a place where you go to work. It is a place that displays your work and sells it. Is that how you describe it?
Yes.
Okay.
And often they also do framing, because it helps them make a living too. And they sometimes usually have shows, but they also have all the regular artists showed it all the time. So it's a really good way to help artists.
And do they have relationships with specific artists? Like they take you on and so you're one of their featured artists.
Oh yeah, and you don't, like if you're in one gallery, you don't sell in another gallery in the town.
In the town? Okay, but you could in another town.
Yes, as long as it's not too close.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that an unwritten rule, or do you sign like a contract though?
It's politeness, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah.
How would you describe the art scene, your contemporaries, your people that you know or work with in the last...
In
Antigonish?
Well, it's partly because of, the StFX Art Department and Art Gallery and Lyghtesome Gallery. There's it's an interesting place. There's a lot of artists here. I also, before I forget, I mentioned that the Tall and Small also shows our work.
That's correct.
And so that's another place to show work. The other thing about about Antigonish is StFX. When I moved back here, I went back to school, went to NASCAD in the late 70s, came back here. And in about 89, Tom Roach, who was the head of the art department, asked me to teach part-time because he was going on sabbatical. Me and Ann Simpson, we both taught here. And after that, he and Iris kept on hiring part-time artists and expanding the art department quite a lot. And it's wonderful because, first of all, hiring artists means the students get to work with, practicing artists, and also the artists get a small but steady income. So it really worked out great for a lot of us. And they were also very generous. We had, Tom asked me to start an etching studio there, and I taught etching for a few years before I could pass it on to someone else. And so we had an etching community that also included people in the community, and they would come in and work on Fridays with all the students. So they were incredibly generous in kind of helping with the art scene here.
I have lots of questions soon, Andrea, for you about the gallery, but let's talk a little bit about, because as an artist, how you feed yourself. How do you make a living? Because part of it, you're saying, is you make art pieces, you give them to a gallery. You're supplementing it through teaching classes as well. How would you describe in the past, because you've been at this for a while, the ebbs and flows of making a living being an artist?
There's a lot of ebbs and flows. You never know when the next check's going to come in. We have a garden. But we always manage. We know we don't have a huge income, but it's okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So
and we're independent. We can, and my husband has gotten situations where he got money to film something overseas. So we got to go traveling quite a few times. So, it's not been we haven't been deprived or anything. So.
No, and I mean, I know a bunch of your family members, and they're all really cool. I feel like culturally, you've lived a very fascinating life that I think maybe you would not have been able to had you not been an independent artist.
Oh yeah, we can go places, we can travel, we can and pursue our interests. Yeah.
So is that the sacrifice as an artist? Because I'm sort of artsy myself. Like you work independently, and you are not going to have a stable income necessarily, but you can get by, and so that's the sacrifice.
I mean, there's been times when we've had to borrow a little money back and forth. Yeah. Or once the gallery didn't pay me, and we were in Europe.
Right.
It was a bit tricky.
Yeah, but the gallery relationship then is at the core, I think, for
yes. And when there's the galleries I am in now, they're all really dependable and honest, and it's been great to have them.
Yeah. So, Andrea, you run a gallery. So you do not create art.
No.
Which is fascinating because you, Anna, you were an artist, and then you opened a gallery, and then now you're a full-time artist. But you, Andrea, never interested in art production.
I bet you are.
I like to say I have abilities, but not talent.
Okay.
I can draw, I can paint, but not nearly on Anna's level.
Okay.
But so what that generated for me was an appreciation of art and a desire to be involved, but not necessarily produce.
So how did you then, you're now the head, the director, the curator of a gallery. How did your journey to that position start?
It basically started in high school. I decided I didn't want to produce a portfolio and apply to studio programs, but I decided to study art history.
Okay.
Because I was told that was the way to kind of get to work with artists and get to work in art galleries and museums. So I went and did my BA in art history at McMaster, and then my MA and my PhD at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario.
PhD in what?
In art history.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's intense. So you're steeped in the academic side of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And yet a directorial job is very administrative heavy. So how did that
How did that come about?
How did that work out? Is that working out okay for you?
Yeah, it's working really well. I actually spent, I want to say, about 10 years teaching art history at different universities across Canada. I did the itinerant academic,
Sure.
just journey to where you can get classes and pay. And then when I was at Lakehead University, a position came open for the acting curator at Thunder Bay Art Gallery.
Okay.
So I worked there for 2 years, and then the position opened here for the director of the StFX Art Gallery.
Okay.
And it kind of brought everything together.
No, you must have questions at this point. I feel like I'm monopolizing this question because I'm excited as a person who's trying to make a living a bit as an author or a musician kind of guy. I understand a lot about what's happening here, but
I feel very intimidated by artists.
You do? What? Why?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
Sorry?
I feel very intimidated by artists.
Oh,
Explain.
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, because it's an ability I don't have as much, or I don't think I have of a particular nature. And I'm trying to connect, my worldview and my reference points. Our son is a musician, is a practicing musician. A
tuba guy,
trying to make life happen in a city like Chicago. And one of the things over the years, he has been now a professional artist in the city of Chicago for last 8+ years. And what we have learned as parents over the years is, he tells me every time I have some doubts, I'm an artist because I want to be an artist. It is not, economy comes later. That's not the primary question I ask. And it is not a reference point I have because I have always worked in full-time jobs all my life. So it is not easy to understand his world from my reference point.
Interesting.
What you just now explained, when you say, so how has it been? The kind of return, I assume, and you tell me, the return you get from being an artist is much greater than the money.
Oh, yeah.
So explain that. What is that gratification you get which is beyond money?
Well, I have actually never, except for teaching part-time, I did work 4 weeks in a daycare center once, and maybe 3 weeks in a restaurant, but I have never worked apart from painting and drawing.
That's just your life.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. The other thing is, your son is living in a city. It's way cheaper in a small town or in the country to live that kind of life.
Yeah, we have tried to bring him here, but nobody's...
Well, that's the trouble.
Right.
Being a visual artist, you can
Right.
take your work elsewhere without having to be there,
Right.
whereas
Right.
he has to be there to perform.
So would you attribute some of your success to the fact that you live here, so your expenses have been a bit lower and you can have a farm and things?
Yeah, I would say so. But it's also been it's big enough that it's socially and culturally rich here.
Yes.
That's correct. Andrea, from your perspective as an art administrator, what would you say to that idea of getting gratification from being just artist and the money part? How does that work?
That's interesting. I can say I am a fan of Anna's work. And what I've noticed is that Anna shows up in the community for all sorts of events. So you've shown your work not only at StFX, at the Art Gallery, but here. And you've had shows elsewhere. Like you're still showing. Last year it was you and Linda Johns had a show out at Tatamagouche. Is that right?
And St. John, New Brunswick.
St. John's, New
Traveling
Brunswick.
show, yeah.
That's right. And you also show up for Antigonish.
Yeah.
And people, when it's Anna, I think, and Kate, you all did a live in-person painting demonstration.
Oh, yes, we have our printmaking, too. That's the other thing I would add is that I'm a printmaker. I make etchings, and that has been a boon for me to make a living because etchings you do an edition of, let's say, 50, 25, 50, and then I can provide a number of galleries with work.
So as opposed to just one painting that you sell, it's 50 versions.
So I've never done the reproduction thing where you sell reproductions of your work because I'm a printmaker. I try to sell my etchings. So
One of the other thing that Justin, you would probably can ask more eloquently, is that even though I, as a consumer of art, would like to buy some things, my economy as a consumer does not allow me to buy. So it's not that I don't want to, the community or society doesn't want to appreciate it. It's the affordability that kicks in.
Yes.
Right? And so there is this whole aspect of, I would love to have more art in my home, right? But I just can't afford.
How
Is that,
well, I mean, for one thing, that's where public galleries come into play because they're there to show art all over, and people should go to art galleries.
Right.
You know.
Do you get paid to show your work at the gallery?
Yes.
Yeah, so when Anna was talking about being represented by a private or commercial gallery, you drop off work there.
Yes.
They sell it, and
Yeah.
then the proceeds are split between the gallery and
Yes.
the artist.
And they sometimes have shows of one or two people, and then you get.
But what
bigger.
if, and I'm just asking a theoretical question, what if the art doesn't sell, and yet shouldn't they get paid just to be present in the gallery?
Absolutely.
Right?
But that's where
No, that's the test.
Sorry about that.
If it sells or
and
not.
I will say that's where the public art gallery comes in.
Yes.
Right.
So the StFX Art Gallery is a public gallery. So we don't sell artworks. We apply for grants. We get money from the university, specifically through the Office of the Academic Vice President, and we pay artists national standardized minimum fees. So there is like a union for artists called Canadian Artist
Carfac, yeah.
Representation, and they have national standardized rates. So we pay artists who show in our gallery. And if anyone expresses an interest then in purchasing, we refer the potential collector to the artist, and the transaction occurs between them. So we are totally out of any type of sales element. We pay artists to show in our gallery.
So how do you then see your role at the StFX Gallery in supporting local artists or new artists, established artists, in financially or otherwise? Like, how do you frame it, what you do in that sense?
So I look at the StFX Art Gallery as a space to promote the appreciation of local, regional, even provincial and national art. So it's a space of learning and appreciation. And so that kind of leads me into, the StFX Art Gallery has been in place in the summer of 2026, it will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. So it started out on the 4th floor of Bloomfield, and then eventually it moved to the 1st floor once the CIBC student branch closed, and they vacated, and so the art gallery went down there, and we currently store artworks in the old bank vault.
Cool.
Yes.
But that's not where you're located now.
No. In 2020, when Mulrooney Hall opened. So Mulrooney Hall opened in fall of 2019. And then I went in with the project management team, and we had a space that was set out for the art gallery. And we renovated it. We put in professional lights, had the walls reinforced with plywood, glass door, special filters on the windows to protect the artwork from sunlight. And then we opened in the fall of 2020 as the new art gallery exhibition space.
Okay. So and you're displaying, because at the moment you have something on with Anne Fox, is that right? What am I thinking that's there?
Yes, you are correct. And I've got the poster because I always find it helpful to have.
Okay. Good. So what is there now?
So right now we have an exhibition of photos. It's called Our World in Photos Connections, and it's a children's photo voice project created by young body Jawi artists in Western Australia.
Okay.
And so it's youth from the ages of 8 to 15 who received training in photography, received digital cameras. They live in a very remote location in Western Australia called Ari Daloon. And they've produced their views on 4 different themes, photographs related to well-being, self-expression, empowerment, and resilience. But the themes themselves, are feelings, relationships, country, and interests.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Australia is slightly outside Antigonish County. How did Australia?
It's next door. What are you talking about?
How did they end up here?
So Anne Fox, when she went on her research sabbatical in 2024, she traveled to Australia and worked with Curtin University.
Anne Fox from StFX.
From StFX. And so she made connections and saw the project, saw the children's photos with stories told in words alongside the photos, and connected with me and asked if I thought it was a good idea for us to show the work, to give the young people an international audience.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's a 50-year anniversary. Are you doing anything special for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are. So what we're doing, this is going to be the biggest exhibition, I think, at the gallery to date, if I'm not mistaken. So we've put a call out for artists living in Pictou and Antigonish, and we're inviting artists to submit artworks for consideration by a jury.
Okay.
So 3 artists, arts administrators. They are Michael McCormick, who's an assistant curator at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. Carissa Ainsley, who's the executive director of Creative Pictou County.
Cool.
And Rebecca Fisk, who's an African Nova Scotian artist based in Mahone Bay. These 3 individuals will review all the submissions. So people take photographs, digital photographs of their artworks. They send them in along with an artist statement and description of the artwork. And these individuals, these jurors, will select the top 50 artworks by 50 different artists that will get included in the show.
Cool.
And it's going to be StFX Art Gallery's 50/50 show.
Nice.
We are paying each artist $350 as an artist fee. So that's kind of how public art galleries work, is we pay the artists.
How would you characterize the relationship of your art center and art gallery with regular Antigonishers over last 50 years? How does that relationship work with regular people in Antigonish?
It's a good question for both of us. Because I've only been in my position for 6 years. And so when I started, I'd only been in place for 5 months before COVID hit.
Right.
So I really kind of was cut off in terms of doing like the outreach and engagement. And I'm slowly still catching up. I look at the art gallery as a venue.
Right.
And it's open to all.
Right.
So that's also why we're open on Saturdays, for instance, so that people don't have to pay parking.
Right.
It's free admission, so a lot of the larger public art galleries are not. But we try to make art as accessible, as democratic, and as inviting and engaging as possible.
Yeah. And what's your kind of perspective on that? You saddle between the community and the gallery, how does that relationship function between the art center, the art gallery, and the community at large?
You mean, do you think that the people of Antigonish are engaged enough in looking
to
at
what
art?
extent, and what excites them? Who shows up there in those galleries?
Well, actually, I think because it is a community, a lot of people show up. There's you end up knowing so many different people. And so a lot of people do show up for these openings. And they're fantastic.
I'll ask the both of you, what advice do you have to a new artist in this town who wants to potentially make a living being an artist of any kind, visual artist, let's say?
I'm looking to Anna.
Well, I mean, there are many different ways of making a living as an artist. You can go into commercial art. You can, if you want to be what they call a fine artist, you have to be prepared to work really hard. I was actually lucky when I was younger and I was going to NASCAD. They had a lot of craft fairs and art fairs, and I would go there and set up my work. And that's how I got into a number of different galleries across the, not just the province, but the Maritimes. It was a way to show my work. So you have to find ways to show your work.
Are galleries then still the key, really?
Yes.
Okay.
For selling, yes.
They still are.
There are, you can also sell stuff online now.
Yes.
I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, there's, so I'm thinking of Addie Strickland,
Oh, yes.
who does illustration. She does live drawing capture for conferences, and she does pottery. So Addie works at the Arts House. She also helps with all the Arts House markets, has tables at all the art markets. So whether they're offered through the Arts House or through the art fair that's held once a week every month in the summer.
In the summer, yes.
Or if they're the seasonal, like Valentine's or Christmas markets. I think the big thing for an artist who's emerging and looking to make a living, you have to really put yourself out there. You have to show up, bring your artwork, and avail yourself of any opportunities. So showing your work for 4 weeks at the Arts House is an option. Showing at the library, there's a sign-up sheet where people can display their works, tall and small, like Anna said. And then also looking for opportunities for group shows. So sometimes it helps to bring your portfolio and make a submission or have a meeting with myself. And, just put yourself out there. I think that's the biggest part. And also, Anna's very good at this. You're very talkative and kind when people come up to you at your shows. You're very welcoming.
Oh.
I always find that. I find it lovely to chat with you and to congratulate you, but then you have a gift of having a conversation with people, which has created, I think, you have a fan base here.
Well, and
true.
I think also teaching.
Yes.
I taught a lot of undergraduates, and it was really one thing I suddenly realized is they're really learning how to see, not how to draw. I mean, some of them learn to draw too. I mean, but it and that
Beautiful.
expands your interest in art. I mean, I just remember some kids,
Learning to see.
I just remember one kid, this guy saying, I said, "Did you really look at that?" And he went back, and he did. And he said it transformed the way he was looking at things, and not just in class.
So I have hope after all.
Yeah,
I
probably.
may not be able to draw, but I can.
At least you can learn to see.
differently.
And
Yes,
And who
yes.
knows if you can reproduce what you see? That's the next step.
No,
You'll
I don't
figure
think
it out.
I'm going there.
So,
But anyway,
as we wrap up, then, if people are interested in learning about your art who haven't bumped across it, what is the best way to find your work right at this moment?
Probably my website, which is out of date, but that's probably the best place. Or I'm on Instagram too.
Okay, well, I'll provide links in the show notes. And then, Andrea, what final things you want to plug for the gallery, the upcoming call for submissions or anything else happening?
So the call for submissions is live right now on the Art Gallery's website. Artists have till mid-May to submit, and we're inviting them to submit works that have not yet ever been seen publicly.
Okay.
wow.
idea.
Okay.
Just in the sense that we're paying an artist fee. We're doing a lot of work promoting this. So we'd love for people to come into the gallery and see works they've never seen before and celebrate, what this region has to offer.
All right. I notice you have your marching orders. You have until mid-May to submit something, and I hope we get to see that at the gallery.
And I would also like to say that if you have a gift to give to somebody's wedding coming up, somebody's, there's so many events. And one of the best gifts you can give to anyone is a piece of art. Because that creates a relationship that lasts over life, even beyond.
Yeah.
And we have tried to do that, and it has been so appreciated by people who receive the gift.
That's great. Good advice. Well, I thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
This has been enlightening and fun.
Amazing.
Yes, thank you so much.
And and we'll good luck with the 50th anniversary.
Thank
Yes,
you.
good luck. It's going to be great.
Yeah. All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Antigonish. If you like the podcast, don't hesitate to subscribe. Just go to letstalkantigonish.ca and click. Voila! You'll receive new episodes right in your email inbox.
This podcast is a labor of love. Please consider making a contribution, small or large. maybe a monthly subscription. Depending on the level of public support, we would like to engage local producers and journalists to create more regular deep dive news stories about life here in Antigonish.
Right now, it's just Anuj and I doing this in our free time. You can read all about the podcast and ways to support us at letstalkantigonish.ca. And if you're a local business that wants to sponsor the podcast or even place an audio ad, we are certainly not opposed. A huge thank you to all of our subscribers and especially our paid subscribers, which have helped us to buy the audio equipment that we needed to get this thing off the ground. And remember to get in touch with us if you have an idea for a future episode or a burning question about life in Antigonish that you want us to explore and get answers to. We welcome all feedback. Just email us at letstalkantigonish@gmail.com. Let's talk, Antigonish.